Hey, I'm Michael Artsis. What's up, Terrifics? We're here at Photo Plus 2017 at the Jacob K. Javits Center in New York City. Oh my God, it is unbelievable here. And we've run into Rudy, who has got PRL Lighting, and you guys have a really innovative new light. And here you've got a 3-light kit, and you've got soft boxes and stuff. But here's the thing. This company wasn't started overnight. You didn't just show up here and start, showing off lights. Tell me about how the company got started.
The company got started as a result of us trying to fulfill a need in the market, but we go way back to the early days of LED lighting with a company called Light Panels that I started. And so
you started Light Panels, sold it to Vitech?
Yes, we did.
Wow. That's very impressive.
We had a very successful run for about 10 years, and I left until I left the company, and then I decided to be retired, and I didn't like doing absolutely nothing. So I decided, is there something else I can do with the knowledge that I have? So
how did you start? So Light Panels was the first flat panel LED to hit the market. You guys had all the patents for it, and the idea was that it was a very bright light for LED, and it was really the first light you could use for television. We bought those lights in the very beginning. In fact, got stopped in the airport. They didn't understand what it was, and made us take our whole bags apart and set them up in an airport in St. Louis.
That's interesting. It seemed at that time, and when we first started building these light panels, nobody knew what they were. But the technology of LED lighting has changed over time so drastically, just like the camera technology has. And what you're looking at nowadays with the convergence of stills and video for many photographers is that you don't need photo and flash so much anymore. Continuous light in the form of LED lighting that's high-performing and high-quality lighting is what we're about.
So when the light panels came out, they were about $1,500 for the cheapest model. They had a steep drop-off in as far as how far the light traveled. It would literally hit about 10 feet and drop off, but they had a ton of benefits. You could battery operate them. They drew very little power. So we were shooting a documentary in people's homes in the St. Louis, Missouri area, and in the middle of summer, and people who had no air conditioning, and to run their electric bill with traditional TV lights and have these hot lights on them, for hours at a time, was going to be impossible. So we bought light panels to cut down the electric draw, to be able to battery power them and move around, and then also to cut down on the heat coming off the lights. We were really impressed by how well they performed, so thank you very much. But how did you come up with that concept to start?
Well, the idea was to bring out some new technology into the marketplace that was much more efficient. Everybody's carrying around much bigger lights that really need and actually consume a lot of energy. And we wanted to go in the other direction. What we've done here at PRL Lighting now is we've taken that to another level. We're looking at smaller fixtures that actually put out a lot more light and put out more quality of light as well. And that's where the market's going.
What's interesting, I think, is as we have the convergence of video and photo, and we have certainly DSLRs making video more available, better video to everybody, we see a lot more continuous lighting solutions, as you mentioned. So that's when you decide, hey, retirement might not be for me. I think I have more to contribute to the world, and let me come out of the bullpen and come up with this new lighting solution. Now, this light is very small. It's a very small footprint, so you could easily stack 3 of these in a bag. They're battery powered, or you can run them off AC, I imagine, and they have a lot of light output for the size that they are, which is what you're saying, and it seems like, we're using the light right now. And Scott is wonderful enough to be the human light stand, unlike Dominique Wilkins, who's the human highlight film, or human highlight reel. And we're far from Scott. We're not close, and there's a lot of light here.
Yes, what we have, like I said before, is a high-performing light that you get 1,200 lux at 5 feet, which is pretty decent for 25-watt light. Almost unheard of in the market today. The thing about it is it's consistent. It's got an intensity control that throughout the range, when you dim it, it maintains its color temperature. We've got some accessories that go with it. as well as the 3-light kit that you mentioned. The 3-light kit you see behind us, there's a 3-point lighting setup in a small studio environment that does the trick for just about any camera that you can use for this purpose.
And you've set this up, I imagine, in a matter of minutes. And so the key is that there's a lot of LED lights out there. These are portable, they're affordable, and the key is that they're consistent. And that's one thing that with a lot of the more inexpensive LED lights you have trouble finding, is something that's consistent, that's bright. I mentioned the fall off before. It doesn't seem to be an issue here.
That's correct. The main thing about the technology and our lights is that there's no spikes of in color deviation. So it's consistently 5600K daylight balance throughout the range of dimming, and you maintain that quality in the results of the imagery that you're taking.
And you can add filters?
You can add filters, you can add a softbox.
The softbox, I think, is key, because that was one of the biggest knocks in the beginning of LED lighting. Also, when people started to go to fluorescence, which were harder to travel with, but certainly offered a lot of benefits over the traditional tungsten and Fresnel lights that were out for television at the time. And that was at LEDs and fluorescence both were very harsh light. And so by using a softbox, you're able to make it less harsh. Obviously now we have dimmers as well, which help.
Yeah, the idea is to tailor the light to the situation. So in some cases you may want to use a softbox, but if you're outside in daylight, you may want to have a more potent light to fill the subject.
I mean, there are so many uses for this in television, in film, and also in photo. You think about, disaster relief. You're covering disaster relief. We've had 3 or 4 major events in the United States in the last 2 months, right? You also talk about events like this, being able to battery power and not have to ask the venue for electric. All sorts of other things. To be able to do this is really tremendous. But specifically for photo, why is continuous light becoming so popular as opposed to using a flash?
Well, I think mainly because of the convergence of photo and video. Photographers are shooting video, but also the camera technology dictates that you don't need as much light any longer. You don't need strobes and flash unless you're doing stop motion. So the camera technology is really what we're benefiting from. And so the LED technology as well has evolved to where you're getting much more performance out of the LED technology if you pair it with the right optics. That's the key. The old LED technology, optics were thrown on, and it was just a way of creating illumination. Now it's much more sophisticated than that.
So one thing about the flash is that I find that the flash, when you're shooting video alongside photo, becomes horrible. And so that's another reason to use continuous light. You can both share the same light, or certainly your light as a photographer isn't bothering the video crew, right? Especially for red carpets, stuff like that. And on sets, behind the scenes, you see these guys with these boxes that silence the cameras and the motors of the cameras, but they also can't use flashes. Now, a lot of times those sets are lit, but when you start to think about what you can do now with a continuous light, it's really tremendous. I noticed that the LEDs look a little different. You want to walk us through, A, your setup here, and then B, the light itself? That would be tremendous.
Absolutely. So what we have here is we have a 3-point lighting setup with a live model.
So you've got a key, a fill, correct, and a backlight.
We have a key that's filtered. It's got an open softbox, yeah, and then we have a fill light that has a softbox with a diffuser on it, and a backlight that kind of frames her out and takes her out of the background.
So here's where it gets interesting. So most people don't learn this anymore, but this is the right way to light for television, and you can also do this for photos. What happens when you have 2 people there? Do you have to have 6 lights?
No, when you have 2 people there, you just have to have enough of a footprint with the lighting that you have. You would still use 3 lights. You just pump up the volume, so to speak.
You've got your key, your fill, and your backlight or your hair light, and then you've got soft boxes on all of them.
Correct. And one thing I want to point out: the key light we have as an example, it's powered off of an AC power supply, which comes with the unit. Then these other lights are powered off of power supplies as well.
But the one that Scott's using is off a battery.
The one that's lighting us is being used with a L series battery. So
He's very stable with that light, by the way. I'm very impressed.
For many minutes now. He's doing well. But one of the key things about developing this type of product is its portability. What we find is that most videographers, photographers, and a lot of imagery is shot on the go in locations, and people are taking their toolkit or their equipment from one place to another. And so what we've developed is a small backpack 3-light kit.
So let's step in here. So we're showing this light kit off. It's a 3-light kit, 3 batteries. How long will the batteries last?
The batteries will last 3.5 hours at 100%. So
wow.
One thing I want to point out, the kit does not include the batteries. We don't sell batteries and stands. What we do is we sell the light with the accessories.
But it'll fit the batteries.
But this is a way of showing how everything fits in the back.
And these are the Sony L series batteries. Now you've got a 3/8 connection on the bottom that you can adapt to quarter 20.
It's actually a quarter 20
I thought
adapter.
It is a quarter 20 adapter.
Yes. What we also have in the kit, we have a 5/8 stand mount that has a quarter 20 and then several other features of it where you can mount it to different hardware.
And you can put it on top of a camera as well if you get a cold shoe adapter, quarter 20 to cold shoe or hot shoe. And then the other option is, of course, some of these cameras like the Sony FS5 we're using today have mounts for Israeli arms and stuff.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, we have an Israeli arm on this fill light here.
Excellent. And so they don't weigh very much. And how long did it take you to develop these?
This took about a year to develop. You know, the year is about average for us. We probably the next set of products we have a roadmap of or a range of products.
You're going to give us a hint?
No, we're not going to give you a hint, but they're going to be bigger. That's the only thing I'm going to.
Bigger. We're going to go bigger.
We're going to go slightly bigger, so we have more output, and they'll still be very highly portable.
So you've got here. It looks like you've done the LEDs a little bit different. So a lot of the lights today just have the LED bulbs. You talked about the lenses. It looks like you've done a lot with the lenses here.
Yes, we don't use the 5mm LED bulbs as they're known. What we do is we have diodes or a surface mount LEDs, and then we pair those with dedicated optics. So these are lens modules that are specifically designed for those LEDs.
Very interesting. Wow, I like it.
That's how we get the performance.
And you can see it here. I can hop in and you can see the lighting really great on a bald head. It hasn't been tweaked for me, but you get the idea of what it can look like. Actually, we should just cut to a shot of the wonderful model here because that'll be more interesting for everybody.
Yes.
That would be appropriate. All right, but you can see, and I see that the diffusion is different on everything. You've changed the diffusion for each light appropriately.
That's correct. As I was saying, this has an open face softbox, but there is diffusion on the light itself. Okay. So we have we have what we call an opal diffusion that takes the edge off the harshness of the light, and then the fill light will have an actual diffuser with a softbox in the front of the softbox.
Rudy, you've done a really great job here. Tell me about the backlight real quick.
The backlight is something that rounds out the subject and takes them out of the background. So
what's the diffusion on that?
The diffusion on that is a light grid, just like it is on the fill light.
Excellent. Well, you've done a great job here. It's very interesting. People can find out more on PRLLighting.com.
They can come to our website. You can buy the products directly from us, only directly from us. There's some good show special pricing as well that runs through the end of the year.
The lights are about $300 for one light, and then the kit is how much?
The one light with a power supply is $335. A one light kit with a softbox and a filter kit is $399, and the 3-light kit is $1,099. If you pre-order the 3-light kit, it's 20% off.
There you go. Can't beat that. He's Rudy. I'm Michael. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. Thanks so much for joining us at BeTerrificTV on all social media, and check us out for more from Photo Plus 2017 right here in New York City. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be terrific.